Let's talk about as we get into like active shooter response, or for you guys, it's probably going to be SOAR, like the single officer assailant response, because you're probably going to be by yourself, especially at some of these smaller locations. So as we get into it, when we respond, there's some things like movement involved in that. There's contact, or we see the adversary. There's maneuvering, so the tactics you're going to use to keep yourself safe. So let's just very quickly, I'm going to talk about ready positions. So before we get into movement, like there's a communication that you've got an active assailant in the building, you're going to respond. What does that look like? So before it starts moving, we need to be careful about what we're doing with our firearm, right? So we're pistol. So we just got our blue gun here in our duty gear. I'm just going to talk about 2 ready positions. There's really like 4 or 5 of them. I'm just going to go over 2 just so you guys have those. So the first ready position is a low ready. Before we get started with that, what is a ready position? Just by definition, I've got 2 hands on the gun. It is the weapon itself, or the muzzle itself, is obviously pointed in a safe direction, so it's not pointed at anybody that I'm not willing to destroy. And if you've got some sort of an external safety, then that safety is activated when you're in that ready position. Okay. And also, the big piece about ready is you're ready to fire, which is why we want 2 hands on the pistol. So immediately, if you see a threat and you need to engage, you can come up and engage. So the first ready position I'll talk about is low ready, right? So the low ready position, I've got 2 hands on the pistol. Again, if I had an external safety on the pistol, it's going to be activated in low ready, and of course my trigger finger is going to be straight. The muzzle in low ready is depressed to where I can see the threat area, so the hallways, whatever, in front of me. Again, trigger finger is straight, and from low ready position, I can move, all right? I can move slowly, I can move fast, depending on the threat, depending on where the adversary is. And so this is especially for us older guys, the low ready position is the preferred. Now there's another position I'll show you here next, and it's a little bit more controversial because it has to do with where the muzzle is, but people like it better. And that is what we call either the close-in ready, or some people call it a CQB ready. Both hands are still in the pistol. Trigger finger still straight. If I have an external safety, it's activated. If my sights aren't on target, I'm not prepared to shoot. But here, the pistol is brought back almost toward the chest like this, and if I need to move, it's easy to move this way, okay? So if I'm moving down the hall, it's easy to move. And then if a threat happens to present itself, then I just come straight out with the pistol and bring the sights up to my head and eyes, and then if deadly force is authorized, then I would neutralize that threat. The big issue with this is, obviously, as I'm moving in this position, you can see that the muzzle's pointed down range, so you're going to you have to be careful about people that are not threats getting in your way, especially if they're evacuating the school, and what are you going to do with the muzzle? So those are just 2 quick ready positions. There's 4 or 5. I wanted to introduce those to you. And remember, folks, it's about prevention, not response.